Many of us feel like we're drowning in raw data at work. We're surrounded by more information than at any point in history. Our brains have a biological limit on what we can process at once. This is cognitive load. You can think of it like your working memory's battery life. When we use heavy technical terms and acronyms, those words act like dozens of background apps. They drain that mental battery almost immediately. Presenting every available detail often causes the mind to simply stop absorbing new information. A specific psychological trap called the curse of knowledge often causes us to overcomplicate our messages. Harvard psychologist Steven Pinker used this term to describe a common struggle. Once you master a subject, it becomes nearly impossible to imagine what it was like not to know it. Because of this blind spot, experts often reach for dense language, assuming that sounding sophisticated is the best way to prove their credibility.
However, when we use words our colleagues don't understand, it often triggers a sense of insecurity. People who feel insecure stop asking questions and stop sharing ideas, which creates invisible walls between departments. Technical complexity often stalls projects by creating barriers between the people who need to work together. We can solve this by applying the X-ray filter, a way to strip away the noise and reveal the core structure underneath. The first tool in the filter is progressive disclosure. This means sharing information in layers, giving people only what they need at that specific moment. This pyramid structures layers. The base holds technical details, raw data engineers use. The middle provides context, scope and impacts project managers need. At the top, timelines and costs, exactly what executives need for decisions. Trying to explain bottom layer mechanics to a top executive usually leads to a total breakdown in communication. Take a look at this diagram showing how data flows through 3 different layers of software. For someone who doesn't build code for a living, this looks like an overwhelming maze of boxes and arrows. To bypass that confusion, we use an analogy bridge. By comparing a technical concept to something familiar, like train cars switching tracks, you tap into what your audience already knows. Research suggests this can help people retain 40% more information. When you build this bridge, focus on what a system does and why it matters. You can leave the acronyms out entirely. A clear analogy converts raw technical details into a plan that makes sense for the business. The final step of the X-ray filter is the sentence cleanse. This is where we look at our writing and remove the heavy, defensive language. We often use extra words to hide uncertainty or to justify how much work we've done. Clearing out that fluff makes your point stand out. Replace the eliminated text with active verbs that focus on the project's cost or its timeline. By cutting out the unnecessary noise, you make the path completely clear for the people who need to make a decision. Many people still assume that using a complex vocabulary is the only way to prove their value at work. In reality, your greatest value is your ability to take a difficult subject and make it clear for everyone else. Using the X-ray filter helps you align different departments, reduce errors, and keep your projects moving forward at a steady pace. Mastering a subject means being able to explain it simply to anyone. Clear communication is a hallmark of true expertise.